we see these late season kind of surges from players sometimes, right? And it gives us like a little preview, a sneak peek at what could be. The Portland Trailblazers, while not exactly in that playoff hunt right now, they have been showcasing some pretty darn interesting individual performances lately. And that's what we're diving into today.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to take a deep dive into a recent piece from hoopstock.net. Is Deni Avdija going to be a star? That's the title, and it's sparking some serious conversation online. And I'm pretty excited to really dig into it with you.
For sure, man. For sure. So our mission for this deep dive, right? We want to dissect this recent, well, explosion is a strong word, but Deni Avdija has just been killing it out there. We want to try to understand all the arguments that people are making about his potential. You know, could he be a true NBA star? And most importantly, like always, what should you, our listener, be taking away from all of this?
Sounds like a plan to me.
Now, full disclosure, I went ahead and read this Hoopstock article, and I gotta say, I'm pretty darn excited about what I found. I really think we might be seeing like the real emergence of a special talent here.
Whoa, hold on now. That's a pretty strong statement. I've seen the hype around his numbers lately, and they're for sure impressive. There's no denying that he's playing at a super high level right now. But, you know, there's a difference between very good player and star. It's a big jump.
Yeah, for sure.
So while I'm definitely impressed with his recent form, you know me, I'm approaching this whole star thing with a little, just a touch more caution. Maybe, just maybe, this hot streak is, well, a little bit of an outlier.
Okay, well, I guess the place to start is this recent performance explosion, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
This article really hones in on his last 10 games, and the stats are pretty eye-popping. Averaging almost 17 points a game, 7.2 rebounds, 3.9 assists, and apparently he's been holding his own defensively, too. So for you, listening right now, that should paint a picture of a player who's contributing in all areas of the game, not just putting the ball in the basket.
Totally. And something I found really interesting, the article kind of highlights this, there seems to be a pretty clear turning point around that May 25th game against the Cavaliers. You remember that one?
Yeah.
Even though he only scored 17 points, the author suggests that it was actually the start of this like sustained offensive surge. It kind of established a new higher baseline for his scoring, like it flipped a switch or something.
That's a great point. And it wasn't just consistent good scoring either. I mean, we saw some seriously standout performances during this stretch.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
The article mentions a 32-point triple-double, man.
Triple-double.
Against the Atlanta Hawks back on April 1st. He had 15 rebounds, 10 assists to go with those 32 points, then 26 points against the Raptors, then a crazy 37-point game against the Bulls. Those kinds of numbers back to back to back, I mean, that signals a pretty massive shift, right, in his offensive role and just his confidence in general.
No doubt. To add a bit more context here, something that's important to remember is his role with the Wizards before this trade. Last season, he was averaging a respectable 14.7 points and was pretty much their go-to guy on defense, the primary defender. Yeah. So we are witnessing a real, and I mean a noticeable, jump in his offense since he landed in Portland.
Which, of course, brings us to the trade itself. It was a head-scratcher for a lot of folks when Portland brought him in from Washington.
Yeah, definitely raised some eyebrows.
The article breaks down what the Blazers gave up to get him. Malcolm Brogdon, the draft rights to Bub Carrington, a 2029 first-round pick, and 2 second-rounders.
Bro, that's a haul.
That 2029 first-round pick especially, that's a big chunk of future potential. So you can see how much the Trailblazers clearly believe in this guy. Yeah. They're willing to bet on his long-term potential.
Big time. And, you know, connecting that to the bigger picture, the fact that they were willing to part with that kind of package, that really underscores their conviction in Avdija's potential.
Yeah, definitely.
The article even mentions Bub Carrington, calls him a decent rookie. But then it gets really interesting. It makes a pretty bold prediction that Avdija will end up having the better, more impactful career.
Wow.
That really says something about how much the author believes in this kid's upside.
So they see a lot to like in his game, obviously. Let's get into the nitty-gritty, the specific strengths the article highlights.
Absolutely.
First and foremost, they say he's an excellent on-ball defender. That right there, that's like a basic requirement in today's NBA. You got to be able to shut down your man, plain and simple.
For sure. And they say that defensive ability is made even better by his rebounding. They point out that he crashes the boards better than most forwards at his height.
6'9".
Yep, 6'9". That combo of strong perimeter defense and effective rebounding, that's huge. It means he's consistently winning possessions for his team on both ends of the floor.
And they say it gets even more impressive on defense. They say that he plays strong and has excellent hands on that side of the ball. They even go as far as to say it's arguably the best attribute to his entire game.
I mean, that's got to be music to a coach's ears.
Yeah.
A player who can consistently disrupt opponents and just gobble up those possessions, that's so valuable to any team's defense.
Absolutely. And then the article shifts gears to offense, and they say he's very well-rounded.
Okay, interesting. So what does that look like in practice?
Well, a big part of that well-rounded offense is, get this, his unselfishness. Apparently, he's extremely unselfish.
No way. In this era.
Yeah, man. And the article says this actually creates open looks for his teammates. Shaedon Sharpe, Toumani Camara, Jabari Walker.
So it's not just about making his teammates happy, it's actually a tangible asset.
Exactly. It leads to better scoring opportunities for everyone, which makes the entire offense more efficient.
Makes sense.
The article also talks about his excellent handle for a 6'9" forward.
Oh yeah, at that size. That's got to cause some serious problems for defenders.
Huge matchup problems. It opens up so many opportunities for him to drive to the basket.
And when he drives, does he finish strong?
Oh, yeah. They call him a crafty finisher at the rim, but they also emphasize his strength, like his ability to finish through the chest of a 70 center.
Wow, okay, so we're not talking about some finesse player. This guy's got power.
He's got the toughness and the physicality to score inside, even against the biggest defenders in the league.
So we're looking at a very versatile player, someone who contributes on both ends of the court in lots of different ways, but there's got to be a weakness somewhere, right?
Well, the article does point out one area where he could improve his shooting.
Ah, there it is.
They call it his weakest point.
Makes sense, but come on, nobody's perfect, right?
Exactly. But what's really encouraging is that they highlight some serious progress in that area. They say his three-point percentage has gone up from 31.5% as a rookie back in 2021 to 36.5% now.
That's a pretty significant jump in just a couple of years.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe 36.5% doesn't put him in the elite shooter category just yet, but it shows that he's working on his game, and it makes him a much bigger threat on offense. Defenses can't just ignore him out there anymore, which opens up all those other parts of his game.
Totally. So we've talked about his recent hot streak, the trade to Portland, his strengths, and that area where he's improving. Now, for the big question, is Deni Avdija on his way to becoming a true NBA star?
The million-dollar question.
This is where the article takes a bit of a step back. They lay out their definition of an NBA star. Someone with a lot of talent, obviously, one of the best in the league, basically a one-of-a-kind talent.
And when they say one-of-a-kind talent, they're talking about those guys with a truly unique skill. Something that totally changes how opponents have to play against them.
And even with all of Avdija's accolades, they ultimately say, no, he's not going to reach star status. And this is where I kind of push back a little based on what we've seen lately, the impact he's having. I mean, could this be the start of something special?
Yeah, I hear you. What is it about the article's reasoning that stood out to you?
It's that one-of-a-kind talent thing. Sure, Avdija is a really good, well-rounded player, but the author doesn't see that one dominant skill that truly sets the stars apart from everyone else. You know, like the historically elite scorers, the amazing playmakers, the guys who dominate on both ends of the floor year after year. They seem to be saying that Avdija, even though he excels in many areas, he doesn't have that one defining transcendent ability.
I see your point.
Yeah.
But doesn't that one-of-a-kind label sometimes only become clear after the fact? I mean, what if he keeps playing at this level, across multiple areas?
Right.
What if this scoring surge is the new norm? Couldn't that eventually put him in that star conversation?
Totally.
Yeah, it's definitely possible that his continued development could change people's minds. But it seems like the article is basing its assessment on where he is right now and what they think his ceiling is. They acknowledge his huge potential, but they're not ready to call him a star just yet.
So if they don't see star potential, what do they see as his most likely, his most impactful role moving forward? Because they're still really high on him, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They firmly believe that he could be a significant part of a good team. In fact, they go even further, suggesting he could be a second option on a team competing for a championship.
So not just a good player, but a key piece on a contender.
Exactly.
And get this, they even throw out a pretty bold prediction for his stats in the near future. 23 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists, with 1.5 steals and a block per game.
Whoa, those are all-star level numbers.
Right. I mean, if he hits those numbers consistently, he's got to be in the conversation for an all-star selection, even if that star label is still up for debate.
No doubt about it. That statistical projection shows just how much the author believes in his continued growth. They think he's on the verge of becoming a truly impactful player in the league, a real two-way force.
Let's recap those key abilities one more time, the things that the article keeps coming back to.
Yeah, good idea.
It's that versatility on offense. He can finish creatively at the rim, he's got that strength, and his three-point shooting is getting better all the time.
And we can't forget his point-forward skills. The article mentions his phenomenal vision for young forward. That playmaking from a guy his size, it's a real difference maker. It adds a whole other dimension to his offense.
So to sum it all up, this deep dive into the Hoopstock article shows us that Deni Avdija has been on fire lately. He's got a well-rounded skill set. He's a beast on defense. He can rebound. He can handle the ball, and his offense is evolving.
Yeah.
The article stops short of calling him a future star, but they definitely see him as a crucial piece for a contender, maybe even a high-level second option.
That's a great summary. He's definitely a player who's on the rise, and his impact is being felt all over the court. And you got to think that the move to Portland has really unlocked something in him.
It really seems that way. And that brings us to our final thought for you.
Hit us with it.
So think about everything we've talked about today. This amazing jump in his stats, his wide range of skills, that debate about whether he's a star or not, and the potential to be a key player on a championship team. What does the word star even mean to you? And where do you see Deni Avdija fitting into the NBA in the next few years? It's something to chew on for sure, even after this deep dive is over.
For sure. Lots to think about.
Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time on The Deep Dive.
See ya.